Hello and welcome back. This is my new favorite thing to do now. This is episode 3 of Cooking Ain't That Hard with your host, Chef D. And you probably already noticed, yes, we have upped the production value here. Things are getting pretty serious. I do have a microphone now, so
Wow.
This is the quality content that you guys deserve. You're my world. Today's recipe is going to be so simple. Episode 1, we had steak. Episode 2, we had some chicken. We're going another protein. Episode 3, we're going to have some salmon. We're going to have 2 different types of salmon here, panning on that camera lady. We have wild caught and farm raised. And not only are we going to be cooking it, but we're going to be finding out which one is better, or if there's even a difference, or if it even matters. I will be following or measuring out direct macros, so we have them for you, because the last 2 episodes I've kind of slacked. That's just because I don't measure and I don't really care. But I know you guys do, so everything will be exact down to the serving size, down to the freaking calorie. So let's get started. Y'all know the drill. Bev on deck, timer in hand, minimal prepped in advance. Everything's just out. That is it. And we will start this timer. Let's get this thing baking. And we're going to put that on 420. Okay. 420, that's preheating. That gives me plenty of time, actually, to start what's probably going to take the longest amount of time, which is some white rice. I'm going to open up this bag. It's not supposed to be this hard. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. That was a lot. All right, I'm going to do 1 cup of rice today over the sink in case we have a spill, which is very common to happen in these parts. And I'm going to make sure I rinse it. I'm going to pour it in a bowl, and I'm going to rinse it out with some cold water. Make sure that's cold. Put it in here. I think this is the technique I'm supposed to do. We're going to let that sit for a little bit. I'll go back to my salmon over here. Side dish for the day, by the way, is a salad. I know. Unfortunately. Okay, so the prep for the salmon is very simple. All we're going to do is put some oil on it, then some seasonings, and then it's ready to bake. Earl. We're not going to spank that meat. We're going to rub our meat today. Rub that meat. Nice and soft. Rub that meat. Get that oil on over there so our seasoning has something to bind on. Come on, rub my meat. Come on, cameraman. Rub that meat. And that's usually how long it takes, too. All right, my meat is lathered up with oil. I'm just going to transfer this to my baking sheet, which I did put aluminum foil on there, so you can tack on an extra 15 seconds to our total time. Seasonings, very simple. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, and finally, onion powder. Seasoning is not going to be as heavy as the steak or the chicken because they're not going to fall off as much because this is going into the oven, so we don't have to worry about all that falling off in the pan. Seasonings have been applied. Now we wait for that oven to heat up. While I wait, I'm going right on over to the sink where I will dump out this water. And I'm going to rinse it all over again. Stir, rinse. All right, stirred and rinse. I'm just going to dump it right away again. Again, we are waiting until that water is not so cloudy. Stir, rinse. Notice we're not getting any closer, but we'll get there. Basically, you're going to do this as many times as you can until either that water is not cloudy or you just simply give up. So that's looking a little better than the very first time we did it. That's good for me. Dump that out one last time. Gotta get my pot. Medium-sized pot, turn the heat up to high. 2 cups of water, 1 cup of rice. Water's in the pot, rice is in the bowl. We're gonna combine the 2. Make sure that's all even in there. Throw that in here. Oven is close enough to 420, so I'm just gonna throw that in there. I do top rack, just get a little crispiness on the top. Timer on for 12 minutes for the salmon. And we'll add like 3 minutes of that for the rice. We should be good to go. By the way, right now we are at 9 minutes. Now I'm just gonna start cleaning up. Salad time. And we're really fancying this one up by adding extra lettuce in there. Add about half of this lettuce. Super official way to check about half of something. You just karate chop it and then pour the rest in there. There we go, perfectly half. Next, Bag-O salad. Bag inside of Bag-O salad. Put that to the side. Dump her in there. All the flavors in this little bag right here. Tonight I'll be adding all the dressing so I can actually get this down my throat. Only add as much dressing as you want. I will be providing the nutritional facts and numbers at the end. Then add whatever these things are. Time to stir it. Salad, done. Into the fridge until we're ready. Rice, stir. Okay, clock is at 14.5 minutes. All I have to do now is wait. That is it. This is probably the simplest cooking ain't that hard that I will ever do. Just gonna do the rest of my dishes now. It's gonna take me about 30 seconds because it's a plate, a bowl, and a measuring cup. And that's it. By the way, forgot to mention, last thing I'm gonna do, cover up this rice, let her simmer until it's ready. Okay, there is nothing for me to do cooking related, so I'm gonna pause my timer. 16 minutes. Honestly, could probably do everything I just did in like less than 10. This is a great time if you've got some chores around the house or there's anything else you want to do with your life besides standing over the stove. Go do it. Time for me to check on this salmon. As much as I would have loved to keep doing chores, let's see how that's going. Ooh, get that money shot right there. Look at that sizzling. Try not to burn ourselves here. Look at that. Timer is off. Now we check on the rice. That's almost done. Give that a little stir-ski. We'll give that another 5 minutes. That needs to cool down anyway. And more chores. All right, back over at the stove. Timer goes back on. This rice, done enough for my liking, so I'm gonna turn that heat off. And we're ready to go. I'm gonna take that salmon back out, left it in the oven just so it stayed warm for me. Super important strategy that I developed on my own. Nobody's taught me how to do this. You're gonna take your spatula, you're gonna go in, because I think it's icky. You go in between the skin and the meat, and you're just gonna scoop her up. And look at that, all the yucky parts that I think is left on that pan. We're each gonna get one to try out. Same thing on this one. Salmon's plated. Rice, I'm gonna be the only one indulging in the rice tonight, so I'm just gonna give myself about half of what I made, which will be about half a cup of rice for my macro trackers out there. Grabbing my salad out of the fridge. That's gonna be the last thing we put on the plates. You can do a nice fancy presentation if you want. All right, I have stopped the clock on everything that involves work. 18 minutes, 56 seconds. I could probably get a sub 15 if I really tried for it, but I was chilling, I was goofing off, I was cracking up. Alright, gang, here's your finished product. Bone apple teeth, some salmons, some salads, and some rice. You can gussy this up in any way you want. You can throw some butter on your rice, some salt, pepper. I'll probably put a bunch of unhealthy stuff on it off the camera because I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Plain white rice, kind of nasty. Here are your macros right there. And probably the simplest you could possibly get on this show, where I really show you that cooking ain't that hard. Doing other things is hard. Cooking ain't that hard. See you on the next one. As promised, do a little taste test, testing the wild caught versus the farm raised salmon. This is the wild caught.
That's what I think you're gonna like better.
Delicious. 10 out of 10. Farm raised. delicious 10 out of 10. I think it just depends on if you're a great chef like me. I can't tell the difference.
It's more
Ooh.
fishy.
Back to it. Okay. I do notice a fishier taste with the farm raised, so I'm gonna give a 9.9 to the farm raised and a 10 out of 10 on the wild caught. You can be the own judge though. Probably the same thing. Dude, this is content right here. Meal, every argument, everything I clean goes on camera now. This is your life. Can you handle it?
Yeah.
Yeah, lock the fuck in. Now watch me vacuum.